Okay, I just want to start by saying thank you so much for taking the time out to sit down and chat with me. I suppose we should start right at the beginning. So, how did your love of music begin?
Thank you so much for having me as well. So funny enough, before music, I used to do ballroom dancing.
Okay.
So like cha-cha and like the waltz and tango. I was about seven. So I was always like into music and then dancing into it. But I then quit around the age of 10, and I've asked my parents to start the violin. I did not have any connection to music, or
Hmm.
my family are not musical at all. So yeah.
Hmm. Do you think that kind of helped you, that sort of dance background, when picking up sort of the music elements?
Uh, funny enough, no,
Okay.
because I didn't really had like rhythm whilst
Hmm.
dancing. So yeah, the music helped me a lot. I would say develop all of that.
Yeah. Okay. And so you said obviously you picked up the violin as a sort of a random instrument.
Yeah.
What drew you to it? Was it just you that was just a very random pick, or was there something that encouraged
Just
you?
the strings, I would say.
Mm,
Well, we had in year five, we had like these music lessons, and
mm,
we studying like strings and piano and whatnot. So we used to listen to these short clips of
mm,
orchestras, um, and I knew I liked the strings. So then we went to a local conservatoire,
mm.
and there was actually just one vacancy for the violin. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's me.
It's obviously quite a difficult instrument to sort of master.
Yeah.
It can go very wrong. As someone who's kind of had a very limited run myself, it is very
Okay.
difficult to make it sound
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I mean, after you go past the crying cats stage, as I call it, um, you actually get to do music with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so, how did you get from just picking it up as an instrument then to actually being on stage playing it live?
So in Portugal, the whole music scene is very classical,
Hmm.
and I was actually very fortunate to be in a conservatoire. So this is like a very specialized music school in Portugal.
Hmm.
So apart from my instrument lessons, I would have chamber music and orchestra, which was like a violin orchestra, and we would have like monthly performances.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was my first experiences
Mm.
performing.
And then is there a difference like performing with an orchestra to performing as a soloist? Like the last time I saw you was on your own.
For sure, for sure. There's definitely an added pressure
Mm.
to play on your own
Hmm.
solo, because that's you, that's your technique. There you cannot hide
Hmm.
behind anyone. I mean, in this is not to say that um, musicians in an orchestra
Hmm.
are hiding, or but it's easier to do things unnoticed when you're in a sea of
Hmm.
musicians,
Totally.
whereas to just there on a stage by yourself or being accompanied by a piano, and it's just it's you.
It's your talent on its own. No, there's
Yeah,
no hiding.
no, no.
And obviously I said about the first time, well, the first time I saw you was as a
Hmm.
soloist and was in
Yeah,
the alt orchestra um
yeah.
at Wales Millennium. So how did you get involved with that project?
So I remember the old orchestra page on Instagram actually
Hmm.
advertising um, their page, and they were like reaching out to the local talent.
Hmm.
So I did message them years ago, just saying, "Hi, my name is Gonçalo. I live in Cardiff. I've done this. I would love to be in contact with you and do some projects." But then, actually, only last year, I got to perform with Nathan for the first
Hmm.
time. We played at the Bristol Beacon,
Okay.
and that was just a trio, so piano, a singer, and violin as well, and it was amazing. And then my second opportunity with them was Pride, the Pride film with a live orchestra in Swansea.
Oh,
Jesus, that was really good.
wow.
That was amazing.
Mm. To be fair, it sounds fantastic. It's a great film on its own anyway, but I can't imagine
Yeah,
how much more
yeah,
incredible it is with a with an orchestra, with a
yeah.
band. Um, so for those who don't know, obviously the Alt Orchestra reimagines beloved songs. So putting that show together, what was like the rehearsal process like of practicing these songs?
So we practice on our own, really.
Hmm.
So Nathan arranges the music in this very creative way, and then so for this last cabaret show, I saw Nathan a couple of days before for a couple of hours, and then on the actual day of the performance, we all got together for a couple of hours in the morning, and
Wow.
that's actually when I met the singers as well. And I was like, "Oh my god, this sounds amazing!" And then, yeah, a couple of hours after in the evening, we did the show.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's and like considering you not played with the rest of the performers until that night is wild.
yeah. That's again where you need to be sure of what you're doing.
Mm,
Counting, you need to know your cues. Yeah, and singers and Nathan, I mean, they were all
mm.
amazing to work with.
Yeah. But so we talked about sort of they reimagine songs. So does that make the songs harder for you to learn if you know them previously?
Yes, yes, because automatically I want to play a certain rhythm because that's how I
Mm,
know the actual singer singing it. And here either I'm playing this song as a solo instrument or accompanying it. So it has its challenges. Yeah, and
mm,
it's not because it's pop arrangements. It doesn't mean it's easier because Nathan actually knows the instrument
hmm.
and quite of the things are quite fiddly. Not like Nathan, Jesus, like take it easy. But yeah, it's good
Especially obviously with
writing.
the violin, like we said, is quite a difficult instrument. So even
Yeah,
moving it, all, the position and all your fingering and yeah, that is
yeah.
wild.
But it's very good writing.
Mm.
It's very good writing. Yeah,
And obviously you at that show you performed I Want It That Way, um,
yeah.
with a classical slant, I think I would describe it. So what was that moment like for you?
It was great. It was great. Again, I'm used or in the past, I've led different violin sections in
Mm.
orchestras, but solo moments I haven't had like many moments of those. So it was really nice to have that moment to shine.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah.
So when you were told you would be doing I Want It That Way, what was sort of your reaction and is there a connection to the song at all?
You know, funny enough. Well, no, but because most of the songs known in the UK,
Yeah.
they don't really are that popular in Portugal.
Hmm.
Although Backstreet Boys, yes, they are. And my sister, she used to sit us, myself and my brother, my twin, down so we could learn the choreographies.
Oh wow.
So when I look back to it, I was like, maybe my sister turned me gay. You did it. It was Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls.
The classics.
Yeah.
Well, so we talked about your sort of dance background and then going into
Yeah.
playing violin and sort of those two different
Yeah.
disciplines. So you have started a new project now, the Red Ribbon
Yeah.
Project.
Yeah.
So what is that about and why did you start that?
Um, So this is actually my first personal project
Hmm.
that I've developed, directed, and created. And it started with just a musical idea of a small ensemble because that's what I knew.
Hmm.
Again, being in Cardiff, um, I got connected with different disciplines, and I was actually very lucky to have made part of different projects, like community projects. So then I thought of adding a visual art element to it
Mm.
as well. But again, there was no subject to the project. I just thought, okay, I want music and I want art, but what am I doing with
Hmm.
this? And it was actually seeing what goes on like in the dating apps, so
Hmm.
like the racism,
Yeah.
and being constantly asked, "Are you clean?" As in HIV is this
Mm.
infectious or that make us dirty, and I was like, that actually didn't sit well with me. But
Hmm.
the why it resonated so much with me is because I had a past experience in
Hmm.
Portugal where I actually wrote something about this, so I wouldn't forget. I'm sorry. Um, exactly. I had an incident
Hmm.
where I could have become positive.
Hmm.
So I knew that I had the window of 72 hours, and I went to the hospital. And this does not reflect the whole Portuguese health system,
Hmm.
but they didn't know what I was talking about when I thought about
Right.
PEP or PrEP, and the medication I knew I had to take. Um, and the way the medical staff they were looking at me, and then just the whole month process, it was just
Hmm.
a bomb for my
Yeah.
system. Um, so I guess being here and on that just took me back to that moment, and I was like, I think this is something that needs to be addressed.
Totally.
And I if I'm already creating a creative platform, I might as well give voice to something meaningful.
Hmm.
And for so long, well, people died
Hmm.
in the past, and they didn't have a voice. And many people now still fight that stigma and don't have
Yeah.
a voice. And is it is still considered as a gay or LGBT issue, where
Hmm.
actually statistics show that the higher cases are now in the straight
Mm.
community. So this is not just a project for the gay or LGBT community; it's a project for everyone,
Mm.
everyone in our community to address this.
Mm.
And I know people who are positive, and I don't care
Hmm.
if people have a different perspective or vision of me, but this is not about me.
Hmm.
That's although I'm quitting the project, I'm writing the project. This is far bigger than
Hmm.
me, and that's when I reached out to Neve as a composer. Her mom was a nurse and dealt with
Hmm.
patients from the AIDS pandemic. And then Darren, as a visual artist, he lost friends during that time as well. So I guess both have very personal
Hmm.
perspectives. And I was like, yeah, we all clicked
Hmm.
immediately, and the creative process was brilliant. So, and
Mm.
that's why I wanted to do the project, and that's what I also want to do with my art is um, I want to be seen as an artistic sort of activism,
Hmm.
and help people,
Yeah.
communities. Yeah,
Yeah. And so you talked about how it started just with your idea. So has the project changed and developed as you've gone on working on it?
yeah. Again, having said that this was my first project, I had no prior knowledge of
Hmm.
what it would actually take to put something this big together. And it was from talking to different people, different institutions, that I also kind of found my voice and my way in the
Hmm.
project. And all of these interactions then shaped the way I curated
Hmm.
the project. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you talked that it's also sort of multidiscipline with the art and music. So what has it been like putting those things together?
I would say really easy
Hmm.
in terms of the creative part. Again, logistics said otherwise. Um, like the project actually started with I idealized it in a big open space where we would have the panel discussion, and the music some way happening at the same time, and all of the paintings and artwork around. But again, there was not really a space like that,
Hmm.
and then I got the museum, and then for the gallery space, I had a couple of spaces, and now landed with Push, which is next to the Capitol
Hmm.
Center. But the way I'm connecting both elements is, so we've done some recordings with our partnership with Royal Welsh College,
Hmm.
and then there was some post production to create like this other hybrid piece that will accompany the
Mm.
artwork in the space.
Wow. And you talked about obviously with alt orchestra, you sort of got prepared separately and then came together. Is this project building at the same, are they coming building constantly together or are they separate and then putting them together?
Um, so the music and the artwork, there were some bits that were separate, but they would communicate in
Hmm.
terms of what are using for inspiration. So there was photographs and media and poetry as well involved, and they would talk about that. In terms of the musicians, we had our time to practice our bits first,
Hmm.
and then we've been having uh, meetings like every month
Hmm.
uh, to go through some bits. Yeah,
Mm. So it's kind of, it is all just kind of melding together sort of naturally.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. So as a bit of advertisement, so what can one expect from the Red Ribbon event?
So Darren has created 11 artworks.
Hmm.
And again, this reflects the past, some sort of the present, and his message for the future. There's a very personal piece there, which is about him and his mother, uh, like when he came out.
Hmm.
So that's quite a personal statement of his in this project as well. And then Neve's music is equally great,
Hmm.
but that will take part in the museum, where we'll have a panel discussion. So facilitated by Adam Williams, and in the
Hmm.
panel we have the fast track manager, we have a sexual health consultant, and
Hmm.
an individual living with HIV.
Wow, fantastic. And so clearly the focus of the event is sort of education and sort
Yeah,
of breaking
yeah,
down that stigma that you talked about earlier, which is obviously really, really important. It, as you said, it's still a thing that goes on today that
yeah,
people think it's an LGBTQ plus disease or the dirty, clean sort of
yeah.
thing. So obviously that's it's a fantastic mission.
Yeah, thank you.
So where can people stay up to date with you then? Where can people find out more about the event?
So I do have my website, which I try to keep it updated. So that's my first name and last name. So Gonçalo Fernandes.co.uk. And then my Instagram page. I post videos of whoever's partnership with in the
Hmm.
project, and then some behind the scenes. So everything will go on there. Yeah.
Hmm. And I'll put the links below so people can just scroll down and click away.
Yeah, yeah. They can see. People can also visit. I'll give you the
Hmm.
the the links for museum tickets, which are
Mhm.
free to attend, but people can also visit the museum's page
Oh,
for that.
fantastic. So my final question is, what advice do you have for sort of new musical creatives or new or people looking to do what you've done?
Um, I would say ask questions,
Hmm.
lots of questions, because most often they're not creatives like not in a narcissistic way, but they like talking about their own projects and
Hmm.
the development phases. So that also helps us new creatives put our ideas into perspective, and they'll be happy to put people in contact, so for them to network. And I guess the first stage is have an idea
Hmm.
and something you really care and love, because there'll be many obstacles,
Hmm.
and it's very easy to just not do it.
Hmm.
Um, so is that strength in what you love that
Hmm.
will make you pursue, yeah, this is what I want to do, in spite of whatever's happening. Yeah, so ask questions and be passionate about what you want to do.
Fantastic. So I said at the beginning, but I'll end the same way. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat
Oh,
with me.
thank you.
I'm very excited to attend the event. So I'll see you there. But
Yeah,
thanks again, and I shall speak to you soon.
thank you. Thank you so much.